and welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on AEW. It is Thursday night, December 28th, 2023. This is your AEW World's End preview and predictions. The pay-per-view is Saturday night. It is in Long Island, New York. It is the last pro wrestling event of 2023, what's been in a very, very eventful year for the world of professional wrestling. Here with me tonight to break it all down on Saturday night, Cameron Johnson, the co-host of the Big Fight Field channel. Cameron, what is up, my guy? We just passed the holidays. How was your Christmas as we go into the new year?
My Christmas was absolutely wonderful, man. I had an absolutely wonderful Christmas. Got to spend most of the weekend. Got to spend most of the week in Florida, which is absolutely beautiful. The people down there are stupid as hell, But the state itself is absolutely beautiful. Then I got to spend Christmas Day with my nieces and nephew. Watching them with a big smile on their faces. They unwrap their Christmas present for their first ever Christmas. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. It surely is amazing. It's a blessing, quite frankly. But that was Christmas. We got AEW World's End, which is Tony Khan's Christmas present to us, to its fans. And we got 8 matches, man. The show looks good. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I had a good Christmas as well. I am much more bigger of a fan than giving. I'm much more bigger of a fan of giving gifts to family members than I am receiving gifts when I wake up on Christmas. When I was a kid, 10 years old, I always look forward to waking up. But now, as I get older, it's more important to see the reactions of your loved ones, of the gifts that you give, than the gifts that you received. So that's what I enjoy about Christmas. But we turn the page to World's End, and just for a programming note, there will not be a World's End review on Saturday night. Sunday morning, I am driving to Baltimore for the Dolphins and Ravens game, which we will get into more on the channel tomorrow with the preview. But as we talk about World's End tonight and this pay-per-view, I thought AEW was coming off a really big high after Full Gear, which honestly, Full Gear was probably my favorite pay-per-view of the entire year. There were some great moments that happened on that show. That was probably my favorite pay-per-view in all of professional wrestling, to be honest with you. And we were talking about it off camera. The build to World's End, outside of maybe 2 or 3 matches, I'll say 2, has been rough. And I think, obviously, there's some key stars missing on the show. This is the first ever AEW pay-per-view that not a single member of the Elite are going to be wrestling on the pay-per-view, which that's kind of crazy in its own right. Bryan Danielson doesn't have a match on the pay-per-view. There's a lot of guys who don't have a match on the pay-per-view, which, I mean, I'd like for quality-wise, because 8 matches, the show will probably get over sooner, but the build has not been that, I guess, must-see. But the one thing that we all learned with AEW and Tony Khan is, sure, the build could suck, but the pay-per-view is going to deliver. And I got no concerns, because I think the pay-per-view is going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have any words that you want to say before we dive into the 8 matches on the main card here? Because I kind of like when you brought it up off air, and I do agree with you on that.
Other than AEW just being absolutely, other than Dynamite, in particular Dynamite, because Collision is still a very good show, but in particular Dynamite has been rough to sit through. It has been rough to sit through. Like I'm an AEW fan, I'm obviously an AEW fan. I love AEW, But I'm sorry, I got to call a spade a spade. Dynamite has been absolutely rough to get through. A lot of the times, Dynamite is just it's either a forgettable show or it's just a bad show. And Joseph, I don't know if you feel this same exact way or not, but as you know, Joseph, I work on Wednesday, so I usually miss most of Dynamite. I usually miss most of Dynamite anyway. So I usually miss most of Dynamite anyway. And it used to be a thing where, when I was at work or whatever, when I was at work or whatever, I would come home and I'd be like, hey man, what? And I'd be like, hey man, what happened on Dynamite? Like, hey man, what happened on Dynamite? On Dynamite, like, what do I need to go out of my way to watch? And then I would watch the show the next day on the TBS app. By the way, the TBS app is fucking terrible. It is an absolutely terrible.
Dude, you do argue about that a lot in the group chat. So.
It is an absolutely terrible app. But I used to be like, so how's Dynamite and everything? Now I might I might go off the opinion of like 2 or 3 people who I trust in the chat that like AEW. How's Dynamite? And that's pretty much it. If they say it was good, I'll go back and watch it. If they say avoid Dynamite at all costs, I'll avoid it, and I'll watch the YouTube highlights. And to be honest with you, the YouTube highlights are the only reason why I'm saying AEW's not good, because you watch the YouTube highlights and it's like, that's what they're doing. It's like it's just not a very exciting show right now, man. I would not have said that just a couple months ago, but Dynamite it's not a good show. It's not a good show right now.
Yeah, I will say this about Collision. Saturday night to the 2 nights before Christmas, I decided to tune in and watch Collision. I have not watched a full episode of Collision since the episode that MJF beat Kenny Omega to retain the World Championship. And that show on Saturday night was a fucking banger, man. You're talking about Eddie Kingston and Andrade in the main event. You open up with a time limit draw between Claudio and Bryan Danielson, and the segment with Christian Cage and Shayna Wayne, that was really good as well. That show was a banger. And I'm watching Dynamite last night, and I thought Dynamite was a good show in its own right, but there were some questionable decisions in watching Dynamite last night. I don't think that Devil segment should have been the main event, because personally, in my opinion, I care more about Eddie Kingston's story than I do who this Devil is.
The Devil sucks. I'm sorry. This Devil storyline is.
I'm not going out there and saying it sucks, but what I am saying is I care more about the Continental Classic, and I care more about the story that's being told with Eddie Kingston than I do about the Devils. So I don't feel like that should have main evented last night. I don't know. I don't know. But we're going to get into all the matches. We're going to dive right into it, man. Let's just dive right into it. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out past videos, post-game recap video. Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins. Tomorrow, we'll be previewing the Miami Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens. Huge game. All tomorrow on the Big Fight Field channel. We're going to break it down. So let's dive right into it. 8 matches on the main card. And you know what? I just brung it up. Let's talk about the finals of the Continental Classic. And while we're on this match, we could talk about the Continental Classic Tournament 2. One of the most fun, exciting booking decisions I feel like Tony Khan has made all year was booking this tournament. This was a fun-ass tournament. Reminded me of sports and how they keep up their standings. I thought the action was really good. The stories were really good, not just with the guys in the finals, but with everybody going out in the whole tournament. You look at the story of Daniel Garcia. The guy couldn't buy a win in the Continental Classic tournament, got eliminated early last week, has his last match against Brody King. The crowd is on their feet for Daniel Garcia, and he finds a way to beat Brody King. The crowd went absolutely nuts for him. If there's an underdog story that AEW should tell in 2024, it should be with Daniel Garcia, whether he's going for a TNT title or international title or international title. I can't see him at the world title right now, but for one of those two titles, they should absolutely do it. So it's not just the story of Moxley and Eddie Kingston. It's also the story of Danielson and guys like Daniel Garcia. And that's what made the Continental Classic so much fun. Before we get into the match happening on Saturday, I'm going to let you answer this question first. What was your favorite match of the whole tournament?
My favorite match of the whole tournament with the C2, I really enjoyed Danielson and Andrade a couple weeks ago on Collision. That was a lot of a couple weeks ago on Collision. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Every Mark Briscoe match, every match Mark Briscoe had in the tournament, every match Mark Briscoe had in the tournament was a fun one because Mark Briscoe was fucking great. Because Mark Briscoe was great, and every match Roosh had because Roosh is the man. Let me tell you, you know how much I love Roosh. Roosh is the man. But every match Danielson, Roosh, and Mark Briscoe had were my favorites in the entire tournament. Any match they had, those are my favorites in the entire tournament because those matches were great. Those are some great professional wrestling matches right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy that I was impressed with outside of Daniel Garcia in this tournament, it would probably be Roosh. He's awesome, and ever since I saw him in person in Orlando at Ring of Honor, he's the man, and he's 2024. I hope is a big year for Roosh because the guy deserves it, and the crowd's starting to like him a lot. So, but one match that stood out to me, and really what kick-started the main story of this tournament was the first match between Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston when Bryan defeated Eddie, and Bryan got that sign from the crowd that said Eddie is a bum. And then Eddie tells the story, hey, listen, I am the king of underdogs. You want to call me a bum? That's fine. I'm a bum too. But I'm an underdog. I'm there. I'm the people's underdog. And that's what the main story was of this whole tournament. The underdog story of Eddie Kingston. He lost his first two matches of the tournament, lost his second match to Bryan Danielson. Last night beats Bryan Danielson in probably his biggest win in AEW so far. And he going on to the finals to face Jon Moxley. And I thought that both of them cut very, very passionate promos on Dynamite last night. This is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most on Saturday night, just because I know the violence that's going to be in this match. There'll probably be blood for the 20 minutes, and I think this is going to be a really good story with Moxley trying to bring the best out of Eddie Kingston. And Cam, it would not make sense if Eddie Kingston doesn't win this tournament. He's going to beat Moxley. He beat Danielson last night, and now he's going to beat another guy that he's never beaten in AEW. He's going to beat Jon Moxley. He's going to be the Continental. So he's going to be the Continental Champion, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. And the question that I have is the Continental Champion. Is that going to be defended yearly, or is that going to be defended once a year in the tournament? They never really specified on that, so
I thought they said that I thought they said that the C2 would happen will be a yearly tournament or something, and like the people would be brought back. Quite frankly, people might not like this. Instead of no disrespect to the Triple Crown stuff, I would much rather. My only criticism about this tournament, I would much rather this tournament have been the winner gets the AEW World Title shot
I agree.
rather than the Triple Crown thing. I think that would have had a lot more meaning to it. But the C2 has been great so far. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. Eddie Kingston is winning this match here. I'm in agreement with you. Eddie Kingston is winning this match here. They are not. First off, they're in New York. Second of all,
Yeah.
uh, Eddie Kingston is not dropping the Ring of Honor title or the IWGP Strong title. So Eddie Kingston is winning this match here, and he's getting the Crown tournament. He's getting the Triple Crown in this match here. So Eddie.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. That crowd's gonna go nuts during this match. Like Moxley said last night in Orlando, the crowd loved Eddie Kingston. They're gonna love Eddie Kingston in New York. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable in that Nassau Coliseum for Eddie Kingston against Jon Moxley. And there's no other acceptable outcome rather than Eddie Kingston winning the Continental Classic. So we're both in agreement with Eddie Kingston. TBS Championship. Julia Hart defends against Abaddon. I don't really care, bro. This is just a challenger for Julia Hart in her reign as the TBS champion. I'm happy she's the champion. She's gotten so much better from last year compared to this year. She's so much better this year. But for me, I just don't really care about this that much. It's another title defense. I'll take Julia Hart.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm taking Julia Hart, but you mentioned what you said about Julia Hart. I gotta give some. I gotta give a shout out to Abaddon. I gotta give a shout out to Abaddon. I think it's cool. I think Abaddon has also, from what I've seen of her, from what I've seen of her on Collision since she's come back. From what I've seen of her on Collision, excuse me, since she's come back. I think Abaddon has also improved a lot from where she was even just a couple years ago when she got signed. Even a couple years ago when she got signed. I think Abaddon has improved. I think Abaddon has improved a lot, and it's cool that we're starting to see Abaddon on television more often, rather than just the big Halloween. Rather than just Halloween. And also, speaking of TBS Championship and Abaddon and Julia Hart, I'm also liking on Tony Khan is starting to put more emphasis on the women's division with AEW television. With AEW television, how we have multiple stories now going on with the women's division. You have Julia Hart and Abaddon going on. Looks like Chris Statler. Julia Hart and Abaddon going on. Tony Storm and Timeless Tony Storm, Timeless Tony Storm, obviously, and Riho, which we'll get into. You have Chris Statlander, starting. You have Chris Statlander, excuse me, who looks like she's about to go heel. Who looks like she's maybe about to go heel. They're starting an interesting story with her anyway. So I like that the AEW Women's Division is getting more of a boost. It's getting more of a boost, and it's getting more of a focus. Hopefully it continues going into 2024, but I like that. But I like that here. That's just one of the takeaways I wanted to give out from here. But it's cool to see Abaddon back on television again because she's improved. But Julia Hart is attaining the TBS championship here. So
Yeah, I agree. And, we'll see the transformation of Chris. I guess that'll be a story to look out for in early 2024. Cam, this match was kind of thrown in weirdly last night. They were just announcing the matches, and they just announced, hey, by the way, Andrade El Idolo is going to wrestle Miro on Saturday night. And I really don't know what's the point of this, because Andrade was wrestling in the Continental Classic tournament. I know that Miro, or not Miro, Andrade, his manager is CJ Perry, which is obviously Miro's wife, but they have not done a story to build around this that much. They're like, hey, I'm your manager now. Okay, great. I'm going to put you in this Continental tournament. And Miro just like, I won't bother with you for until after the tournament. And there's really no build to this at all. It's kind of weird, man. What are your thoughts?
It is kind of it is a match that it's kind of just thrown together. It is a match that's kind of just thrown together. There's no real story behind it. This was kind of just thrown together. I saw somebody on Twitter say that they make this match a loser. I saw somebody on Twitter say that they make this a winner gets granted their release match. I said, "Damn," and I said, oh, I just laughed at that a little bit. But yeah, this match kind of did just get thrown together with no real story or anything behind it. So
Who's your pick to win the match?
I'm going with Miro.
Miro. I think I don't know, man. This match is so there's like really no story around this match. I would have to think that there's going to be a story told between these two guys uh, after this pay-per-view. So I think CJ will probably cost Miro this match. I'm gonna take Andrade to win, and the partnership between Andrade and CJ Perry is gonna last for a little bit longer than we expected to. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna go opposite, and I'm gonna take Andrade for this one. Um, 8-man tag. This match was made last night on Dynamite. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. This match was supposed to be Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, the Golden Jets, against Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Obviously, Kenny Omega went down with diverticulitis, hoping and praying that Kenny Omega gets better. He's able to heal up and come back better than ever. That stuff is no joke at all. So Tony Khan had to pivot. He booked an 8-man tag with Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Sting against Big Bill, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Konosuke Takeshita. This was originally Kyle Fletcher, but it's now Takeshita taking Kyle Fletcher's spot. This 8-man tag, I guess it'll be a fun match. It'll probably be a fun match, but again, why should I care about this? I know all these wrestlers are great. It'll be a really fun match, but I don't know, man. Darby Allin's been off television since Full Gear. Sammy Guevara's been off television since he got a concussion. The Don Callis family hasn't really been doing much on television. Um, I'll take the faces in a fun way and a fun win. I don't know who takes the pin for the heel side, but I will. I'll take the babyface team. Cam, who do you got and why?
I'm taking the baby faces just based off the fact that the babyface corner has Sting in it, and Sting is yet to lose a match in AEW. And considering the fact that Revolution, which I will be there live for, by the way,
Yes.
considering the fact that Revolution is what 3 months away, I think it'll be very stupid to have Sting lose a match of any kind. 3 months away from his retirement match when he's been undefeated so far in AEW. So the baby faces are going to win here because of that. But I don't even want to talk about the match. I want to talk about the angle that happened on Dynamite last night with Sammy Guevara coming back and just him and Jericho are best friends again, like nothing ever happened. Again, I understand why Sammy Guevara is. Again, I understand why Sammy's back in Jericho's corner because Kenny Omega got because Kenny Omega is out. God bless him. A speedy recovery for Kenny Omega. Because Kenny Omega's out, and so they had to pivot, and so Sammy and Jericho have history together. I understand that, but like I understand that, but like Sammy turned on Jericho like what 3-4 months ago. Now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden, Sammy Guevara is back linked up with Chris Jericho like nothing ever happened. Like on top of that, we're attempting to turn. On top of that, we're attempting to try Sammy Guevara as a babyface again when it just does not work. And just that's what gets me heated about this match. But anyway, the babyfaces are gonna win, and sad to say, uh, I'm hoping Big Bill takes the fall here, but it's probably going to be Will Hobbs. They better not pin Takeshita, I'll tell you that much. They better not pin Konosuke Takeshita. So it's probably going to be Will Hobbs, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um, I just don't know where they're going to go with these storylines. Obviously, Jericho has a challenge for the tag team titles. As I said when we were off the air, I'm guessing it's now going to be Jericho and Sammy Guevara against Big Bill and Ricky Starks. I don't know when they do that match. Hopefully, Big Bill and Ricky retain. But ever since, I feel like ever since um, the Don Callis, ever since Takeshita has pinned Kenny Omega twice, the Don Callis family has done nothing on AEW television, and they need Will Ospreay as soon as possible because that honestly, Will Ospreay's in that faction, and right now they are a dying faction, and hopefully he can give them the juice that they need because Don Callis is very entertaining, as we all know on TV. But the faction is doing absolutely nothing of importance right now.
So. Absolutely nothing of importance. And I will say this, Tony Khan. I will say this. You got that man Orange Cat. I know they just put the All-In Championship back on him. But they got that man. I mean, whatever the fuck the title is called. The All-Atlantic International. Whatever the fuck the championship is called. Because I keep forgetting the name of it. Tony Khan. You got that man Orange Cassidy with that title. That would look real good around Konosuke Takeshita. I'm just saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that would look good around with that international title. So that's going to be a very interesting scene going into 2024. But we both got the baby faces going into this match. Here's one that I'm very excited about. No disqualification for the TNT Championship. Adam Copeland against Christian Cage in a no disqualification match. Man, do you remember the days where me, you, and Wes were sitting on the channel saying the TNT Championship is worthless? Look where it's at now with Christian Cage, man. Unbelievable how much that title has been revised. It's in one of the bigger storylines in AEW right now, man. What's your thoughts on this storyline overall? Did you like that first match with Copeland and Christian Cage and everything going on in that rivalry?
I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this rivalry so far between Christian and Adam Copeland. Between Christian and Adam Copeland. By the way, I'm just gonna let you know this right now. Joseph, I'm gonna do it out of respect for you and being on your channel, but just so everybody knows, Adam Copeland will always be Edge. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. I have a very hard time calling that man Adam Copeland. I'm gonna do it out of respect for the channel right now, but I have a very hard time calling him Adam Copeland. Okay, anyway, back. I've really enjoyed this storyline with with Christian and Adam Copeland. I've really enjoyed the storyline. The heel turn by Shayna Wayne made a lot of sense. I just thought it was very poorly executed, but it made sense, But it made sense. It made sense. The turn did, so I didn't have an issue. I didn't have an issue with it. But overall, I've really enjoyed the storyline. The promo work between these two men have been on point. And the Father of the Year, Christian Cage, I'm hoping retains the TNT Championship. But I think Adam Copeland is going to get the champion. But I think Adam Copeland is winning the title here. Either Adam Copeland is going to retain the championship here, or since it's no DQ, Christian is going to use every tactic in the book. Christian is going to use every tactic in the book because he's going to have Luchasaurus interfere. Or his name's not Luchasaurus anymore. I forgot his name. But he's going to have Luchasaurus interfere. He's going to have Shayna Wayne interfere. Nick Wayne interfere. So Christian, I think, should retain, but I think Adam Copeland's probably winning the title.
I think it's no DQ. This is the hardest match to call on the whole show. Outside of the main event, I'm going to take. I'm gonna take Christian Cage too. I don't know how he's gonna win. Again, I don't. Does Adam really need the TNT title? I don't think so. The only way I could see him winning is if Luchasaurus comes back. He's pretending to help Christian Cage, and he swerves. He throws him a curveball, and he's going to turn on Christian Cage. I don't see that happening yet. I do think he returns in this match, but it's going to be helping Christian Cage. It's going to be a big 3-on-1 beatdown, and I think Christian Cage is going to retain the TNT Championship in this match. I don't know what's next for Adam Copeland. I don't know what's next for Christian Cage, but I do see Christian Cage retaining the TNT Championship against Adam Copeland. I do agree with you in that matter. I could easily see Adam Copeland winning this match, but my head is just telling me to go Christian Cage. So that's the route I'm going to go. We got 3 more matches left on the card. Toni Storm defending the Women's Championship against Riho.
Hold on, Joseph. I need you to re-say that again. I need you to re-say that again using Toni Storm's moniker. I need you to re-say that again.
Timeless Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm against Riho. Listen, solid story. Riho's back. Every member of the Outcast took her out back before Double or Nothing. She beat Ruby Soho. She beat Saraya. And now she's got to get the Timeless Toni Storm. Should be a really good match. Unfortunately for her, she's not beating Timeless Toni Storm. Toni Storm is going to win this match, retain the championship. I probably see her being the women's champion for a pretty long time. They're not going to take that title off of her anytime soon, nor should they. So Toni Storm retains against Riho on Saturday. Cam, who do you got and why?
Timeless Toni Storm is going to retain the AEW Women's Championship, and she's going to have her chin up, she's going to have her tits out, and Riho better watch out for the shoe. Because you know it's going to come into play. But no, Timeless Toni Storm, though, is absolutely tremendous. This has been an absolutely tremendous character, absolutely tremendous gimmick. But no, Toni Storm is retaining the AEW Women's Championship here. Hey, man, I think that championship offer, she's the best thing in that division.
Yeah, by far. She's absolutely the best thing in the women's division right now. I wanted to tie these 2 matches into each other because the angle I saw last week between Swerve and MJF, really, really interesting. First, we'll talk about Swerve against Keith Lee. Swerve is going to win this match. They kind of just threw in this match at the end. They got a bit storyline. I feel like this is just to get Swerve on the pay-per-view. So we're going to have him wrestle his old tag team partner. He's going to win because he's in the main event scene now. And he's going to beat Keith Lee because I could see on the road to Revolution, he's going to be wrestling for the AEW World Championship. Who do you got in this match and why?
Swerve. I'm going with Swerve, man. I'm going with Swerve. Swerve Strickland is going to beat Keith Lee here tonight, and then he's going to walk into Revolution as probably the biggest babyface in the company. But yes, Swerve Strickland is going babyface. He's got a babyface turn in his future, fellas. Whether he wants to go babyface or not, the man is going to go babyface. I'm telling you that right now.
The whole thing screams babyface with the Prince Nana dancing and the crowd chanting for him. They're not cheering against Swerve. They'll never cheer against Swerve. So in the future, I don't know if it's going to happen at Revolution. That might be too soon. Maybe at Double or Nothing. But the man is going to be world champion in 2024. He's going to be the first black AEW world champion. and he will be the biggest babyface in the company when the time comes. Who he's going to be wrestling for the World Championship against, that is a good question. Because the main event of World's End is MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. And I want your thoughts on the build because I know you're not a fan of it. And then I'll give my thoughts, and then we'll give our predictions.
This, oh God, this double storyline. Who is the double? This double, he's Mass Hitchman. This double storyline sucks. I'm sorry. This shit sucks. It started out good at first. It started out intriguing. At first, but these past few weeks, I've been some. My opinion, these past few weeks have been some bad television. I'm not a fan of the double. The best thing about this whole double storyline is Roderick Strong trying to figure out who the double is, coming up with the board, coming up with the board, and going, "It's not Hangman. It's not this guy. It's MJF." To me, that is the best part of the storyline. Roderick Strong, Roderick Strong. This double storyline absolutely sucks. I just do not care about this anymore. They need to reveal who it is on Saturday, and they need to reveal who the double is on Saturday. Because if we don't get a double reveal on Saturday, this storyline is going to just completely.
We are absolutely getting a devil storyline on. We're absolutely getting the reveal on Saturday. Tony Khan said it in his press conference that we're gonna have some surprise. We're gonna have some shockers. We might see the devil. The devil is going to reveal himself on Saturday. I have no question about that. Continue.
So it is what it is, and you look at the possible candidates for it. A lot of people online don't want it to be Jack Perry. A lot of people online don't want it to be Jack Perry, which I find absolutely hilarious. All the memes, which I find absolutely hilarious. All the memes of people going, they gonna stand up for WWE if Jack Perry's revealed as the double and everything. And the shit's been absolutely hilarious. But the shit's been absolutely hilarious. But whether it be Jack Perry, whether it be Britt Baker, which I would not understand at all, whether it be Adam Cole, they need a big name. They need a name for this payoff that people would go, okay, that makes that would go, okay, that makes sense. The only thing is though, Jack Perry, I think, will get people to groan, and you might lose. They might lose some viewers if it's Jack Perry. I don't know why people hate Jack Perry. I don't know why people hate Jack Perry, but they might actively lose some viewers if it's Jack Perry is the double. If it's Jack Perry is the double. And if it's Adam Cole is still hurt, so you won't be able to get any kind of payoff or any kind of match until sometime next year when he's cleared. And if it's Britt Baker, they're not doing MJF and Britt Baker for the world title, for the world title. I know Britt Baker thinks she should be wrestling for the world title, but I don't think they're doing MJF and Britt Baker. We're not going to be getting intergender storyline shits here. So they need, whoever the double is, they need to come up with whoever the double is revealed on Saturday, it needs to be somebody that makes sense and somebody that the people won't look at and just groan, just audibly groan when they see him. That needs to be the end of this double storyline and the conclusion here. Because looking at names, I don't know who the hell the names of the storyline are, or if the names of the double are. So, is what it is. Although I will say, I was talking to Wardlow at WrestleCade, and I asked Wardlow if he was the double, if he was one of the Masked Henchmen. He told me to just leave. So that might be a spoiler.
Oh, I actually do think he's going to be one of them because he's been involved with MJ. He's been doing MJF vignettes for months now. I actually do think he's one of them. But yeah, it's been hard. It's kind of the same thing every week, leading up to last night. Backstage attack Hangman Page, attack MJF, leave a message on the board on the Titantron. It's not exciting. until last night, the Swerve, I guess the Devil has been working with Samoa Joe, or Samoa Joe's been working with the Devil. He faked an injury, laid out MJF. He never wanted MJF at 100%. And now MJF's going into the pay-per-view banged up as he already is. So um, I'm going to go first with the prediction. MJF has had a wonderful, wonderful run as the AEW World Champion. Probably the best World Championship reign in AEW. He's had incredible matches, and he's only gotten better as a wrestler as the World Champion. He's been the champion for over a year now, and with this Devil storyline, there's no way it's not Adam Cole. It's going to be Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Wardlow, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. That's my prediction for who's under the attacks on MJF. And, bro, I'm taking Samoa Joe to win the AEW World Championship. And my main reason from that is because I don't feel like this story needs to involve the World Championship. It's bigger than the championship because Adam Cole and MJF were literally best friends. The crowd loves them. The AEW audience loved them. And it's going to break their hearts when the Devil cost MJF the World Championship in his hometown in front of his family and his friends. And they're going to take everything that he loves. And that's the World Championship. And keep in mind, they have this whole bidding war thing. So MJF will technically be a free agent after World's End. I do see him being off television for a month, then coming back and getting revenge on Adam Cole. But for Saturday night, Samoa Joe is going to be the new AEW World Champion. Do you agree or disagree?
I was leaning towards Samoa Joe, especially considering the fact that MJF has a torn labrum, and if he does have a torn labrum, I don't know how healed he is. I don't know how severe the injury is. I know he's obviously. I know he's going to wrestle on Saturday because he's in New York. Because they're in New York. But I was hoping that I was going with Samoa Joe, especially considering the fact that what, MJF is a torn labrum. Get that championship off MJF, put it on Samoa Joe. Let MJ, the Devil can cost MJF the title. The Devil can cost MJF the title, whatever. That takes MJF off television for a while. Allows MJF to heal and recuperate, and then when he's ready to come back, he has a ready-made storyline with the Devil ready to go. Until I saw Dynamite this week. And the ending was Samoa Joe holding up the AEW World Championship. And typically speaking, if the challenger is holding up the World Championship, the go-home show before the pay-per-view, they're not winning the title.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the same. Philosophy here. MJF, I think, is going to retain the World Championship in Long Island. And then I think it's going to be revealed that Adam Cole or whoever is the Devil, and is the Devil, and they want the AEW Championship away from Adam Cole and away from MJF and with the Devil. So I think that's the way they're going to go here. But I was leaning Samoa Joe until I saw the ending of Dynamite. Because usually in wrestling, not all the time, but 95% of the time in wrestling, when the challenger holds up the championship when the go home show the pay-per-view, they don't win at the pay-per-view. So I'm going with MJF.
It's literally hard to predict this match. So MJF, but here's the thing. If Adam Cole reveals himself as the Devil, he's obviously going to want to go for the World Championship. Swerve is entering the main event scene now What do you do with the World Championship team? Does he feud with Adam Cole? Does he drop the title to Adam Cole? What happens to Swerve? There's a lot of questions here, man.
I that part I don't. That part I don't know. I'm assuming that part I don't know, and I'm assuming right, especially considering the fact that if the devil is Adam Cole, unless the injury was just not as serious as we all thought, unless the injury was just not as serious as we all thought, Adam Cole is not going to be able to wrestle for a while because he's going to be injured. So unless you do MJF and Roderick Strong for the AEW World Title at Revolution, I think they're going to keep Swerve. I think Swerve is going to for just a little while longer. And that Revolution, I think, is going to be MJF as Swerve for the title, with Swerve eventually winning the championship there. And then Swerve, after he wins the title, is going to go babyface. I don't know, but I think it's going to end up being. But I think Swerve is probably up next for MJF if he does retain. If he does retain. If he does retain, even if Samoa Joe wins the title, I still think Swerve Strickland is next. I still think Swerve Strickland is next because you look at the roster, I just don't. Outside of Swerve, who's obviously the hottest thing in AEW right now, I don't know who else they have to really challenge for the title. Like you could go Hangman, or you could go Hangman, obviously. You could go Hangman, obviously. You could do that. Moxley, there's another Moxley MJF match, or Moxley and Joe would be fun, but there's another Moxley MJF match really interests you, but
no.
Not. That's why I think Swerve. Either way, I think whoever wins the championship, I think Swerve is going to be the next in line. That's why I think that match is. That's why I think Swerve is getting the title at Revolution. If it's MJF, they're going to keep him heel a little while longer. They're going to do Swerve and MJF at Revolution. They're going to do Swerve MJF at Revolution. The Devil is going to continue to play a role on. The Devil is going to continue. The Devil is going to continue to play a role on AEW storylines, and that is where we see MJF drop the title because of the Devil, and then the Devil's going to go after Swerve, which is going to cause Swerve to go babyface, or which is what is going to cause Swerve to go babyface, or Samoa Joe is going to win the title, and Swerve is going to turn babyface by default with Samoa Joe. Either way, Swerve is next to the line for the title. So
here's another reason why, two reasons why I think Samoa Joe is going to win the World Championship. Number one, I just told you, I don't think MJF Adam Cole needs to be for the World Championship at all. Number two, they made Samoa Joe months ago drop and relinquish the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So you're telling me that he's dropping that title and relinquishing it just to end up losing to MJF on pay-per-view? That doesn't sound right. And number three, Tony Khan gave us the same match on free television at Grand Slam with MJF winning. I know the stakes are higher in this matchup. Everything with the Devil going on. It's in MJF's hometown, in front of his family, in front of his friends. But are they going to give us the same match that they did at Grand Slam? I can't see it happening, man. I just don't see it.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean by that. But I just cannot see. I know it would be great heel heat, but I just cannot see Samoa MJF losing in his hometown of Long Island. And again, with everything I said, Samoa Joe winning the AEW Championship, I think would be the best situation with the title. Then I think would be the best situation with the title. And Samoa Joe's AEW World Champion, I would love to see it. I know Tony Khan had him drop the TV, had him drop the ROH TV title, but I just don't think he's winning the world title. I just don't. I think MJF beat him once, and MJF is going to do it again.
We'll see, man. I'm definitely excited. There's a lot of possibilities. There's some good cases for MJF to win. as some good cases for Samoa Joe to win. I guess that's what makes this main event very exciting. But, folks, we're going to get out of here tonight. Those are your AEW World's End predictions. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. If any more matches come out for the World's End pay-per-view, I'll put it in the comments down below before Saturday night. Just a special reminder, like I said in the beginning, there will not be a World's End pay-per-view on Saturday night. I'm going to Baltimore on Sunday for the Miami Dolphins Baltimore Ravens game. I'm going to have to leave very early in the morning, so I'm deciding not to review the pay-per-view to get some rest. Hit the like button if you like to hear from me and Cameron Johnson. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Cam, where can they follow you, my friend?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. At Cam71101. Also, make sure you check out the Rated M podcast. Also, make sure you check out the Rated M podcast. Run by me and my friend Mo and Chris. And we had a clip that went viral recently. That thing did numbers recently. Where we argued about Money in the Bank. That thing went viral recently. Got some good views. So you can find that. On there if that interests you. We also just did our year-end award predictions, and I was in there showing AEW some love. I was the only one in there showing AEW some love. But if that interests you, make sure you check out the Rated M podcast. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man! I might check that out. So, that's gonna wrap it up, folks. Have a good night. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.